response to the housing and shelter needs of the people. And even the food and water needs, the MPs cannot be the sole solution. We don't have the capacity to deal with housing needs on that scale. That needs a national reconstruction program with a proper governance structure attached to it and well-resourced. But certainly, if you were to give MPs even $50 million each, that would be something we would be able to make that money count for the people and the people who need it. I'm just throwing that out as a number, but it's many, many multiples of the figures that are being discussed now. And, one has to bear in mind the resource capacity of the country as well. And the government is in the best position to assess what that is.
Well, I think what we heard there from Mr. Golding is rather worrying. Yeah, you can't just throw out a number. Yes? You're the alternative government. Yeah, you don't have the luxury to just throw out a number, Mr. Golding, as opposition leader. No, that's careless. That's irresponsible. You can't just throw out a number. For example, we know that Melissa did not impact in a serious way several scores of constituencies across the country. How are you going to justify giving MP Dwayne Vaz or MP Dayton Campbell from Westmoreland, or your own, all of whom are your own, Nikisha Birchall in South St. James? How are you going to give her the same as you would give Desmond McKenzie in West Kingston? Or in East Central St. Andrew, down the road from where we are? When they did not suffer the damage that Birchall, Campbell, Vaz suffered in Westmoreland or Green in St. Elizabeth. It doesn't make sense. And Mr. Golding needs to be more responsible. Yeah? It doesn't make sense. And when you're in opposition, I suppose you don't have the weight and the burden of making decisions that matter. You can just chat. So we heard from Mr. Golding yesterday, yes, that the government must also simplify the process of procurement to allow MPs to do the work necessary to help their constituents. And at the same time, he's asking for a national system of accountability and transparency. Can you imagine giving MPs $50 million? Do they have the capacity to account for $50 million in a moment like this? At the same time, we hear from the Integrity Commission saying that, listen, we're watching you, which is good. The Integrity Commission, that is what they're to do, to watch. But then the mixed messages, because somebody just wants to be politically expedient. Politically expedient. Now is not the time for that, Mr. Golding. Listen to what he said about simplifying the process of procurement to allow MPs to spend, according to him, $50 million each.
Until that allocation is made, members of parliament are unable to respond to the needs of the people unless they happen to have some personal resources or access to dealing with it outside of the public system, and many do not have that. I would also say that the process of engaging contractors to do that kind of work should be simplified and made easy for members of parliament, especially in those areas where there's very limited connectivity and where following the normal bureaucratic processes that are required would be very challenging or impossible for members of parliament. If contractors have a TRN, whatever the allocation is, there should be invoices, and those invoices can be submitted, but the work should be able to begin.
But you are prepared to give them more than $3 billion, the 63 members of parliament. $3 billion. Yeah? No, sir. Doesn't make sense. Careless, irresponsible. Time for the break.